Well, excuse the rain, as you can hear there's a gale outside. It's quite nice being in here. Now then, as you can see, I've got a former and I've covered it with cling film, okay, so that it's just going to be easier to take off. And with our initial template, you'll notice that there's a start here arrow, so this shape is slightly longer here, and that's for a reason, and you'll find out in a minute. So we're going to start here. I'm going to start with our former being placed just here, and then we're going to carefully lift up the clay. Now we want about a 1 centimetre gap at the end, and we're going to hold that just so and keep this nice and straight, and then gradually we're just going to roll the clay around. When you get to this point, you can carefully move that over, and what you're aiming to do is you're aiming for this section to join up with this section. You will see that there's a little bit of a fold over, and that is to make sure that your clay is fully attached. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to score on this side, and I'm then going to store on this side as well. And then taking my slip, so my slip again is liquid clay, so what I've done here is I've added water in with the clay so that you can see that it is just a smooth creamy consistency, and then I'm going to apply that onto that section. Luckily I've got the heater on in here and it's quite cosy. A little bit of hygge going on in the shed. So, and then we're going to roll that over to join like so. So you should get that where it's actually joined. Now there is a fold over, but that's going to be quite handy because we're going to use that and model our shape from there. So then what I can start to do is sort of pinch and twist a little bit at the top. Okay, so I'm making the top of the tree, and then here I'm just going to carefully place that, because we've got our former, that's going to hold that in shape. Now this is up to you. You can either leave this line if you want to and just use the tool to smooth the one side to the other. You can see I'm just doing that like so. So that sort of leaves that as a little bit of a folding feature. Because I've got enough clay to attach it and I've used my slip, that should stay quite nicely. But for good measure, you can also pull that clay down. Again, it's all about making sure that everything's really well attached. Now you might find this bit gets a little bit messy, but we can always use the sponge to smooth it out later. Okay, so if you don't want that, then you can quite simply use your finger then to move that clay across. Again, this is quite good because it's making sure that everything is really well attached. And then with our plastic tool we can just pull that clay over, getting rid of all those bumps. You can go the other direction if you want to, just to sort of even that up. It's about moving the clay over to get rid of that quite dramatic sort of step that we had. Okay, and then when we've done that, we can just use the back of the knife to make it smooth again. And then you're just using your finger then to do that. I mean, with this here, you can always sort of just use your thumb to even off sections and smooth out sections. The clay will be quite soft at the moment because you've had it all wrapped up. So it's quite malleable. Gradually what's going to happen is as more air gets to it, it will start to dry and become more solid, and so it will then take the shape of the form that you've got and will be quite sturdy. And then with our sponge, so if we take our sponge, now we want to get rid of all of the water that's in the sponge, and then quite simply use that to smooth the surface, and then just using your finger to then refine that even more. If only if it was snowing outside, that would be even more festive, wouldn't it? Okay, so we can just go around. So every time you touch the clay, you will find that your marks from your hands will go on there, but gradually as it starts to dry, we can sort of continue to do this so we can get a really, really smooth edge. Okay, so then we've got our shape there, and now we can start thinking about the star at the top and how we're going to attach that.